parties where the money flies right out of my pants. Don't you know I got a little secret? It's the ace of hearts up my sleeve. And when I get home to my honey, she give me love like you wouldn't believe. Yeah, they call me Mr. Lucky, and I thank my stars above. You can call me Mr. Lucky, 'cause I'm lucky in love. When I'm walking through my neighborhood, everybody knows I'm feeling good. See me smiling from my head and my feet. They say, ain't that Mr. Lucky coming down the street? Hey, that's me. I'm Mr. Lucky when you kiss my lips, when you touch me with your fingertips. I'm Mr. Lucky when you hold me tight. I'm Mr. Lucky when you kiss goodnight. Baby, they call me Mr. Lucky, and I thank my stars above. You can call me Mr. Lucky, 'cause I'm lucky in love. Call me Mr. Lucky, and I thank my stars above. You can call me Mr. Lucky, 'cause I'm lucky in love. Call me Mr. Lucky in love. Call me Mr. Lucky in love. You know that's right. Baby, 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 baby.
Hey everybody, what's going on? What's hot? What's hip? What's happening? What's shaking on your Monday? Hope you had a great weekend. I'm tired from mine, of course. 16 full hours. I was on the big radio station 2 days this weekend. Not the network and the big radio. Yeah, that's what happened. Hey, tonight I am going to tell you about Pervitin. And it's a story you're not going to believe. And it's a story that I hope he comes in tonight that was first told to me by the wolf himself. And you're not going to believe it. Hey, if you could go to the TomGullyShow.com. There's 270 podcasts there. Man, we got shows on fear of clowns. We've got shows about a guy that took pictures of toilets all across the world. We've got authors. We've got famous actors. We got famous singers. We've got a U.S. senator that almost was the president. Not kidding. Famous comedians, you name it. It's all there. Plus, you can go to our merchandise store, which is on the website, or you can just go to cafepress.com/the Tom Gully Show, sorry. Or if you'd like to contribute, you can go to paypal.me/Tom Gully Show. Some people were nice enough to do that last week. It's an awesome feeling. I can't even tell you. I love it so much. It's just a vote of confidence. Like and share and subscribe, especially YouTube is the preferred way to watch the Tom Gully Show. And if you like us there, it does incredible things for us. And we love it, love it, love it. And it don't cost nothing. It don't cost nothing at all. Big update on our march to 3,000 view hours. We currently, I checked it just minutes before the show began, have 2,835 viewing hours, which means we have 165 to go. if we do this right, if we are within striking distance of passing that mark this week. Yes. And it's all because of you, and you are awesome. Don't let anybody ever tell you different. So there's all the bookkeeping. Let me just get to some of these chats, and then I'll tell you all about Pervitin, which you can see behind me. Joker's cleaning the kitchen. Super fun time with the show. Awesome. We are a great show to clean the kitchen. Problem stains on bathroom tiles, embarrassing stains on contour sheets. We're great for that. Pegleg Vet says, please tell me about Pervitin. Oh, Pegleg Vet, we're going to tell you about Pervitin. Hey, Seagully says, I think is that SG Fanboy? I'm not that good at remembering. The Gullyverse. I don't know that there's a Gullyverse. Although there is a show that calls it Tom Gully's Dabbleverse, because I'm the only one they know related to the Dabbleverse at all. And I consider myself to be Dabbleverse adjacent. What is going on with this microphone today? Like, what the hell is that? Oh, wait till you find out, Pegleg Vet. Wait till you find out. Sven Dunkel is here. Haven't seen him in a while. Hello, Sven. Always nice to see you. Lyndon is here. Ran into Lyndon on a show earlier today where he's being very funny. John Ziermike says, I'm not familiar with this Pervitin. Oh, you will be by the end of this program, and you won't believe it. You just simply won't believe it. Reb Wild Bill says, greetings to everyone. Sven Dunkel says, got a new girl. That's live. Hey now. Randy says, chef and sous chef Frankie in the house. Hey, Randy. Hey, Frankie. How you doing, man? Glad to have you with us. Julian Caesar says, no one wants to admit they're a secret pervitiner. Well, no, you don't want to admit that. Although people can tell because you're missing teeth and have facial blemishes. Reverend Wild Bill says, greetings, chef and Frankie. My favorite topic. Sven, don't blow the thing. John Zero says, comes in a block. Do you scrape a little off in your coffee? I'll get to all that. Driving home, and I hear something about Pervitin, and I had to tune in. Hey, Uncle Jack. If you guys haven't checked out Uncle Jack's Jack Shack on YouTube, you need to do that. Mediamente. Terry Knee's got the peace sign up. Hello, Terry Knee. Always good to see you. Hey, I better get my thing open. I know how you guys like it when I get my thing open. Wow, man, I spelled it wrong. Let me see here. Oh, boy. This is a story you really are not going to believe. Now, many of us, not all of us, but many of us have images in our head. Let me tell you about Pervitin. Many of us have images in our head of the opposition soldiers in World War II, the Nazi soldiers, of them being evil and having absolutely no, compassion and being killing machines. And I'm not going to say that's true. I would never say that. However, when you learn about Pervitin, you can see why people think that. So, throughout the war, the Germans consumed Pervitin, which is a methamphetamine, which produces a higher energy. You don't need as much sleep. You don't need as much to eat. And there's a lot of tactical reasons for soldiers to have that going on. And it also has a psychological effect, which makes you very enthusiastic and gives you a feeling of confidence and omnipotence. It was developed by a German, although the Japanese had done some initial development of methamphetamine in crystalline form. But Fritz Hauschild patented it in 1937 for a company called the Temmler Group, and it was considered as an energy booster. It was like a pep pill for the Germans, and Pervitin was completely legal in Germany until 1941. And because it was legal, it was broadly advertised. I'll show you one of the advertisements right now. It was broadly advertised in Germany as a little pick-me-up, right? There it is in its pill form. There were billboards in Berlin and everywhere else until its regulation. in 1941 when its consumption became more obscure in Germany. But up until that point, you could just buy it over the counter, like Advil or Preparation H or anything else, right? So the whole topic was sort of revisited about 10 years ago in depth because people sort of forgot about it a little bit. But once they started looking into it, they found out a whole bunch of stuff. Now, in 1938, this company called Temmler started commercializing it, and they actually saw Pervitin, this methamphetamine, as a competitor of Coca-Cola. And they went out and they got an ad agency and they had a marketing strategy, and it was extremely successful nationally in Germany. They embraced Pervitin like crazy publicly in Germany. It was cheap. And remember, Germany came out of World War I, and they're trying to reindustrialize the country and become, out of the ruins of World War I. It was cheap, helped people work, spread euphoria, and it wasn't considered a drug. It was considered just like aspirin or a lozenge or something, for the reasons people take lozenges. And its effects were seen to be completely 100% beneficial. And by the way, sometimes it was even mixed with chocolate, the chocolate Pervitin, coated in chocolate. But you can't really blame the Germans from that. They coat everything in chocolate. That's just what they do. So it was not only popular amongst the workers of Germany. Adolf Hitler himself was introduced to Pervitin, and then they subsequently decided to give Pervitin to the whole Wehrmacht, the German army. Everybody got it. They handed it out in ration kits and stuff like that. They even started off by making sure that they could do this by performing some tests on students, and it was immediately suggested that it could improve the soldiers' performance. And so they put it in their daily rations. They consumed it twice a day, and it gave these German soldiers supernatural capabilities. They were fearless. They were happy all the time. They could go 3 solid days without sleeping, and they could walk 60 kilometers without stopping. Why? Pervitin. Let me just give you another great Pervitin shot. There you go. There's another picture of Pervitin. It even says methyl whatever on the side of it there. So this Pervitin was one of the reasons they could blitzkrieg. They could invade Poland like that in 1939. They could absolutely cut a swath through the French Ardennes in 1940, or the Balkan campaign of 1941, which was fought without rest for 11 straight days by the Germans. Of course, the people on the other side are going, don't these guys ever take a nap? No, they have Pervitin. They just keep doing it. So when they started to lay in the snow to let themselves die, I decided to give them Pervitin. After a half an hour, they spontaneously started telling me they were feeling better, comments one of the officers, getting these reports back from military commanders, the archives indicate how pleased they were with the positive effects of Pervitin and how they asked for more of it in their provisions. You think? And so this drug was distributed to all soldiers, with the manufacture exceeding 35 million doses in just April and May of 1940. They weren't just giving these guys Pervitin. They were dumping it on them by the wagon load, okay? For tank troops, for example, there was a clear order, an order, mind you, to use Pervitin. Often the Pervitins were in the shape of what they called Panzer Chocolat, which is a little specially shaped piece of chocolate that they would give the guys in the tanks. However, it was particularly effective in the Luftwaffe. the German Air Force. And that was because of the increased attention span it gave pilots. And they started even referring to it by the nickname pilot salt. Incidentally, here is the Luftwaffe package for Pervitin. The Luftwaffe, being pilots, everything was a little nicer for them. It was more upscale because the pilots were all officers, 100% in the Luftwaffe. Being in the Luftwaffe, you had to be a pilot. You had to be an officer. So this is a nicer package in a nicer container and very, very posh for these officers. So the drug, beside the unbelievable benefits, well, it's like any other drug. It brought side effects. Indeed, early reports found in the archives mention the adverse effects like exhaustion, heart pain, and circulation problems. And yeah. So even giving Pervitin fell heavily in conflict with Hitler's known policy of being strongly anti-drug. And that went back into the early 30s. And so, there was a huge crackdown on anyone using any illicit drugs in Germany for a decade or close to a decade before the war began. So they had cleaned up Germany, okay? And as a result, the pharmaceutical industry in Germany kind of experienced good times, because while you couldn't use illicit drugs, if they were prescribed to you or they were seen as legitimate because a pharmaceutical company had produced them, that was okay, which led to not just the German public, but the German army kind of having an addiction problem. So the whole country was kind of dependent on drugs to a certain extent. Certainly the soldiers on Pervitin. So they didn't make it completely illegal in 1941. They kind of did, but like a lot of things in Germany, they went, this is illegal, except. So you couldn't purchase it after that without a prescription. Nevertheless, the consumption did not decrease very much, even among civilians. So in one particular of the ranks of the military, the prohibition was completely ignored. Military officials seemed to find the distribution of this drug completely legitimate because of the benefits they were receiving from it. In fact, consumption increased of Pervitin during Operation Barbarossa from June to December of 1941. And at this point, one could even wonder whether outlawing it was meant to do anything, They do have a theory that they wanted to outlaw it for the public so that the supply would remain really good for the army. Now, starting in about 1941, the Reich knew that Pervitin brought side effects and risk of addiction. That was, by this time, very, very evident, although they still had the really colorful packaging and stuff that they loved it. But the officers knew that these guys look like they're going, the Pervitin is not very good for you. I know, Klaus, but I get to stay up 3 days in a row. Anyway, there's this guy named Heinrich Boll, and he wrote a sort of a diary, and he reflected on his concern about the supply of Pervitin, because the primary concern of the officers was related to dependence, the fact that people wouldn't be able to do without this drug at a certain point, so they had to maintain the supply. Indeed, providing soldiers with daily doses made them and their performance totally dependent on Pervitin. So Heinrich was enrolled in the Wehrmacht, and during his time on the battlefield, he sent letters back to his family in Germany, which make up sort of his diary. In one of them, he sent in May of 1940, "Perhaps you could obtain some more Pervitin for my supplies. It makes miracles." he needed it to ensure his performance and the benefit from the psychological effects that it gave him. More to the point, Pervitin gave the soldiers a sense of euphoria and happiness that helped them combat the awful, horrible, completely reprehensible atrocities of war. That's one of the big things about it. Yeah, all that other stuff's great, but the masking of what was actually happening to them was extremely important, not only to the officers in the Wehrmacht, but to the soldiers themselves. They just simply couldn't do without that in order to cope with what they were seeing every day. So, for obvious reasons, a major issue appeared when there was a shortage because everyone would go into withdrawal. And the German population and the German army experienced the symptoms that we know today, which is nausea, hallucinations, your cognitive abilities are diminished, and you also have anxiety and depression. So despite certain people in the Wehrmacht's attempt to limit the use of Pervitin, they couldn't do anything to prevent abuses of Pervitin. And that situation escalated over the years as soldiers died from more and more, by the way, cardiac failure, suicides, or military miscalculation. It's great if you've got a bunch of guys storming a bunker and you want them to all feel indestructible. It's not so good if you're a commander and somebody has you really legitimately, strategically kind of in a certain spot, and you go, I don't care about any of that. I have Pervitin. We will just kill them all. No, that's bad. You will make bad decisions when you're thinking that way. So the control that they had with Pervitin started completely slipping out of their hands, who, go figure, a bunch of drug-addicted soldiers and suddenly not easy to control. The same thing happened to Hitler. His own drug abuse started leading to poor strategic choices, and things like Normandy happened. So Germany's big secret weapon that had allowed them to be absolutely unbeatable during the early days of the war backfired and became a major reason for the fall of the Third Reich. So that's just a little bit about Pervitin, pilot salt, if you will. Psychosis was a major side effect. Some people, because the German army was also big into cocaine, and some people would mix Pervitin with cocaine, and that made them, just absolutely nuts. Let me see here. I've got another deal here. Under its influence during the Blitzkrieg, these soldiers were able to travel 22 miles a day under fire through enemy lines, then cut telephone wires and disable all communications from the French headquarters to the front lines. And that was during the Blitz. And they would take 3 to 5 tablets, which is 9 to 15 milligrams of methamphetamine, the max being around 100 milligrams a day. And just to give that a little context, today for $20 to $40, you can get 250 milligrams of methamphetamine on the street. Those who are using it, in an addictive fashion, will use 300 to 800 per day in the fastest delivery method possible, which is either an IV or snorted. However, even at lower doses, there's just a massive increase in aggression, change in personality, behavior, confidence, and of course, less fatigue. There was another drug they were using called DIX or D9. Each of those tablets contained 5 milligrams of oxycodone, 5 milligrams of cocaine, and 3 milligrams of methamphetamine. And of course, like all good things in Germany at the time, they tested it on prisoners in a German concentration camp to begin with, which is just horrible. And during the test, the prisoners basically were given shoes, and they were using it to test the durability of shoe materials, and they didn't have a machine that can do it. So they fed these people D9 and then just made them walk 25 miles a day carrying a 25-pound backpack and then monitor the wear on the shoes. And that would go on from morning until night for days until the shoes fell apart. Most gave up, but one record shows a man who took 75 milligrams of this stuff, which is, let's see, that's 13. So he took 6 times the normal amount, and he walked 60 miles without fatigue. And so then they started giving everyone 75 milligrams. And the Nazis concluded that the soldiers would plow their way through the last battles of the war while taking 20 milligrams of this, which they would either put in salts or chewing gum. So the Nazis had these mini submarines, which were 1 or 2 person subs with missile launching capabilities. And they had these guys chewing the gum, which was 20 milligrams of cocaine, 20 of methamphetamine, for multi-day sessions. So they'd send them out and they'd go off for 4 or 5 days. With the continued use, some of those soldiers built a tolerance of 1,000 milligrams per day. So, like I said, they did not view it as a drug. And if the wolf comes in here, I'm going to have him give me a call because he knows about all sorts of these testimonies. I know some of them because he's told me about them, and I'll relate them to you just as soon as I get through some of your chat. Or I guess I could tell you about them now. There are many accounts of, especially people that were on tanks. They wanted these tanks to be able to run without stopping because the Germans' tanks, especially at the beginning of the war, before the United States got involved, the Panzer tanks were so much superior than anything the Allies had. The tanks of the time were relatively rudimentary, except for the Panzers, which were basically rolling artillery. I mean, they had 88s on them. They would just absolutely destroy anything they hit. They were fast. They were mobile. When the United States got into the war, they built the Sherman tank. Now, the Sherman tank, by comparison, was not nearly the tank that the Panzer was. The Panzer was a Cadillac. It required, notably, a lot of maintenance. You had to keep it lubricated. You had to keep it oiled. They really required maintenance, but they performed at an incredible level. The Sherman tank is a lot like an American car. It was built to run on anything, and it was built to run and run and run, and it was built, if you're building a Panzer, you can't build as many of them because they're high quality. They're going to use better metal. They're going to use very well-designed plans to build that tank. The Sherman tank was built for manufacture. And so we built 12 Sherman tanks to 1 Panzer. And our tanks weren't better than theirs. They were better than the rest of the Allies, but we overwhelmed them with our ability to produce tanks. And so many of the battlefields in World War II hold accounts. And if you've seen the movie, oh, doggone it, it's the movie with Brad Pitt where he's a tank commander, Fury. You see some tank battles between Panzers and a Panzer and the Shermans. We overwhelmed them. Many battlefields would have a destroyed Panzer and 5, 6, 7 Shermans there. And the Panzer would get as many as it could, but you can't stay unflanked forever. And just the sheer numerical superiority, we would end up beating them. For that reason, the German command wanted panzers to be on the road and working and taking over territory and destroying things all they could, 100% of the time. And that's where Pervitin came in. And there are accounts for some of these, tank soldiers of them just being maniacally devoted to what they were doing, totally euphoric, unwilling to sleep, unwilling to stop, being sort of addicted to a bloodlust of more and more and more. I've got to do more. I've got to do more. And Pervitin is the reason for that. There are many, many stories. You can find them all over YouTube of soldiers on Pervitin that went a month, so they say, with maybe 10 hours of sleep during that month. They just kept taking it. So anyway, here we go. Let's get into this. Terry Nees, checking out Jack. Hey, Anthony Schultz, how you doing, man? You mean Pervitin the soap? I do not. Japanese, kind of. Little bit. Incidentally, the Japanese had sort of a version of methamphetamine, but it was crystal in form, and they didn't patent theirs, and of course the Germans did. Christina Costello's here. Hello, Christina. Meth and schnapps doing the trick. Yes. Hans, pass me the crack pipe. Eyeline Pep, I'm a pep. Yeah, it is a perfect match. It's a wonder drug. You spend all of your time wondering how to get more. I guess I don't need to keep this picture up. I think you guys are all well acquainted with Pervitin now. It's the fact it's giant behind me. Terry Nee has a Pervitin decoder ring. Yeah, it's in German. Oh, with the umlauts and everything. Ich mochte meine Pervitin. Anyway. Yeah, it's Pervitin. Well, the Wolf, and I hope he comes in here, he's got a term. He calls things perv, not in a sort of vulgar way, but if something's like really weird, he calls it, oh man, that's just really perv. So when he started talking about Pervitin, I didn't exactly know, and then he explained it to me. I don't need no stinking coke. I'm a Pervitiner. Panzer chocolate. Yes, insurmountable nitwit. That's exactly what it is. Hamhead says, just watching a documentary on D-Day. Don't know as they had any Pervitin by D-Day. They were running out of it by then. Positive Patriot says, hi, Tom. Sorry I'm late. Are we going to keep doing that? Is this like going to be an Abbott and Costello routine? You're not late. Nobody's ever late to the show. Uncle Jack says, drink more Pervitin. I guess you could drink it. I guess they could figure out a way. You know, if they're putting in chocolate. Jokerfish, those World War II Germans loved speed. Pervitin conquered France. It did. And Poland. And the Balkans. They were fearless, happy, and they were speeding. Yes, they were. Ripkrieg, says insurmountable nitwit. Hoffentlich du wirst eine ausgezeichnete Urlaub gehaben Sie. Nicht verstehen Sie. It's a Sucrets box. Yes, the Pervitin, it does look a little like a Sucrets box. It really does. That's marching powder, putting on snow camouflage. Positive. Sounds like the Germans were ahead of their time in some way. Well, yeah, the boss called it vitamin B. Yeah, it's just meth. Hey, gang, but they called it Pervitin. People saying hi to each other. We like a cheerful chat room. Hamhead, not the first time he spoke like a methed up German. Well, I don't know that I was speaking like a methed up German. So certainly speaking German. Folks saying hello, 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 hello. Hey, hello, hello, hi, hey, hello. By the way, TomGullyShow.com. TheTomGullyShow.com. 270 podcasts. You got to like one of them, right? Or there's something wrong with you. You can go there, go to our merch store. There is no Pervitin in our merch store. Or you can just go to cafepress.com/The Tom Gully Show. If you'd like to give us a little bump, a little something, for the effort, that's at paypal.me/Tom Gully Show. And then there's the Patreon. It's all down there in the crawl. But what we really need you to do, if you're watching on YouTube, which is the prescribed way to watch the Tom Gully Show, is give us those likes, man. Give us some likes. We need those likes. 165 watch hours till the end of the week, and then we can be monetized, I think. We could do it. There was beer and hemp belonged to the fight. Then comes the farmer. Yeah, well, Sven's got a thing about the farmers. Reverend Wild Bill says, this reminds me of the past 60s and 70s mother's little helpers. Yeah, the reason she had the house cleaned, laundry done, groceries bought, and dinner on the table. You say Yellow Jackets? Yeah, that was a thing. Paused Up Patriot says, takes a few extra to floor them on that stuff. Trust me. Joker says, took 1 to 3 tabs of acid at Grateful Dead shows. Oh, boy. That's got to be a... By the way, the phone lines are open at 972-994-6822. 20 miles under fire. Hell, we did that in the Boy Scouts when I was in it. I know a couple women that love... yeah, I know a couple that don't. Reverend Wild Bill says, Oxy, Coke, and Meth. That's a nice cocktail. Yeah, that was DI9. That's a fun night. Guess who's ripping a Chevy dash out? Oh, man. Aku. Wow. Why are they ripping it out? It's got to be a new Chevy. Let's see here. Nazi Man Monster sniffs up. Yeah. Many submarines for the soldiers who want their wartime duties to be as dangerous as possible. Yeah. The German sub service had a mortality rate that was in the 90s. They didn't survive too long. Let's see here. Rommel was an amazing tank commander, but USA. I read your book, you magnificent. Sherman tank motors literally slide out for repair or replacement. Yeah. And you don't have to put gasoline in a Sherman tank, at least the World War II variant. You didn't have to put gasoline in them. You could put cooking oil. You could put, they would run on anything. I had Ritalin as a kid. I think my dose was far too high, made me pay attention in class, but it definitely increased my physical ability. 5-on-1 fight ended with 3 teachers pulling me off the leader. You fought 5 girls? Hey now, put Pervitin in your Ovaltine. Yeah, I don't think that'd be a good idea. Sorry, Tom, not sure what you mean. Nobody is, ever. Lyndon says, we were always told not to eat the mashed potatoes before weekend leave. They were putting saltpeter in them. I've heard that's a very true thing. Yeah, I've heard that's a very, very true thing. Incidentally, I'm wearing I couldn't find my hashtag Dos a Cero shirt, but the United States won the CONCACAF Nations League for the 3rd straight time over Mexico for the 3rd straight time, our most bitter rival. And so there's a story behind that. We beat them 2-0 in all big tournaments. It just turns out that way. We beat them at the World Cup 2-0. We beat in the round of 16. I mean, we beat them this way all the time. So now the U.S. fans have this hashtag and this cheer, Dos a Cero, Dos a Cero, Dos. Seriously, it's happened 10 or 15 times. It's insane. It's just, so it's happened so many times, in fact, that they made this shirt here where, they got the U.S. 2 and then the Mexican colors here in the 0. I will try to find my Dos a Cero for tomorrow. That was last night. And it was all I could do to stay awake after being on the air all weekend. 8 hours on the air 2 days in a row is a haul, man. Sven Dunkel says, was taking Pervitin and was lost in Belgian woods before building bunkers. Wow. Jeez. MASH. So the Russians had their vodka, the U.S. had cigarettes, but the Germans had the good stuff. Well, it was good at first. You know, no wonder neo-Nazis are into meth. Yeah, it's part of their heritage, I guess. Terry Nee says, Temler Pharma is still in business. I'll go further than that. To quote Mr. Potter from It's a Wonderful Life. Do you know the company Fanta, the soda Fanta? Do you know why it even exists? It's because Coca-Cola was worldwide before World War II. And when Germany was our enemy, they had all this Coca-Cola plants there and stuff. So, and this is a big controversy. Coca-Cola really didn't want to quit selling products. So they kind of got rid of the factory, but kind of didn't. And then they invented Fanta, which was short for Fantastique, which means fantastic, and started selling Fanta instead of Coca-Cola. And then when the war ended, you know, now you got two soda brands there. So yeah, and Mitsubishi's still in business, and they made the engines for the Jap fighters and stuff. So Japanese fighters. Linda, I don't know if we can say that or not. Black Beauties helped you cram for exams back in the day. Wouldn't know about that. Uncle Jack says, I ripped apart an entire Dodge Ram 1500 after 2 tablets of Pervitin. You can't get Pervitin. Well, I think you can, to be honest with you. I think there's some World War II memorabilia sites and things. Now, you can get the packaging, like is behind me, and you can get reproductions of the packaging very easily. John Ziermite says, turns out I was aware of Pervitin. Odd that I didn't recall the name. And then he says a bad thing about the Nazis, which is a little bit of a contradiction in terms, because I think they need to have some bad things said about it. 96, wrong wiring harness for HVAC system. This makes the 5th time this dash has been out. Man, oh man, oh man. Man, oh man, oh man. I did see a cool video. Someone had taken a 90, I want to say 2 Bronco, and redid the whole wiring harness, but they just took the old one out and put the whole other one back in, and had to take the top off. You know, they just wanted it to work right. And this particular vehicle had been through a lot, so they just put a brand new one in. And they had the whole thing intact and just laid it in, and it was cool. Love to get some of that stuff. I don't know if they're selling that. Wow, really? Yes, really. Joker says, Tom, World Cup is coming to the States. Are you going to any games? Well, I doubt it. When it was here in 94, I went to a whole bunch of games. I live in Dallas, where the semifinals will take place, and also 7 maybe or 8 or 9 group matches or something like that. And I'd been there. I'd been with the crowds. None of those matches that are local are going to be United States matches. The ones that are for the United States, I would go to, but historically, including last night here in Dallas, we are outnumbered in fans by our opponents in many large stadiums, not the smaller ones, but the larger ones. And I just don't need that. So I'd prefer to watch the games on television at this point. I might go to some watching parties and some things like that, but I don't feel the need to fight the maddening crowd anymore. And so I doubt that I will. Who invented Pervitin IG Farben? Unless it was Fritz Hauschild, I don't know who invented it. Tom, did you know the singer Dido is a huge Arsenal fan? Oh, there's a bunch of huge Arsenal fan celebrities. Tons of them. Tons of them, Lyndon. Tons of them. Berserker style. Yeah, that's kind of what those guys were when they were on Pervitin. Berserker style. Aussies had the best chant during a cricket game. $4 to the pound. Ban on Coke. Fanta has good orange soda. They do. I heard George Bush's family had a lot of businesses in Germany in the 40s, says Positive Page. Well, the Germany in the 40s, prior to the 40s, Germany was booming industrially, so it was a good place to invest. We didn't realize they were going to, you know. That's good stuff. I legitimately fought proudly in the Revolutionary War, says Brett's Hollywood Show. I watch World War II docs all the time. YouTube allows that. Yes, well, good. I don't know if me personally in my professional life would be could not kill my Volkswagen Beetle, well built. Those Beetles, man. I had a friend with one, and it just ran like a top. It was air cooled, so you know, when it was cold out, that thing got warm really fast. I mean, super fast. And I remember one time. This is the truth, because the engine's in the back. We were driving somewhere, and all of a sudden his accelerator wouldn't work. So we stopped, and he popped the rear trunk open, and the sort of that wire cable that went to the carburetor had broken off. The clip of it had broken off. And I had a paper clip with me, and I took the paper clip and threaded it through that coiled cable and then through the carburetor, twisted it, and we drove all the way back from Bloomington, Indiana to Indianapolis, which is 60 or 70 miles, just like that. I love those Beetles. Don't bring your Vuvuzela to the game. Those things are obnoxious. They should be outlawed, Julian. They really should. It's been a while since I heard of Vuvuzela, but that one World Cup, oh, goof. I would just turn the sound off. We're too old to be soccer hooligans. You got that right, Joker. Lyndon, I had a piece of rope in my VW Bug to start it on cold mornings. Yeah, those bugs were wonderful. Remember the Thing? There was like a German officer staff car. They came out. It was all boxy, and the doors would come off, and you could do all sorts of stuff with it. Uncle Jack said, seats from a 1992 Pontiac Grand Prix will fit in a 1970 Chevelle. They bolt right up. That's the extent of my Frankenstein upgrade. Yeah, there's a bunch of the cars that were sort of made, like the Pinto and the Vega weren't very far apart. Ford also got their knuckles struck as they were avoiding their own German factories. Yeah. I also had the VW Square back with the Porsche engine in it. Says, wow, Bill. Aku says, the life of vehicle depends greatly on two things, maintenance and location. You keep it working, it will last forever. If you live anywhere near salt, you will watch it rot. You got that right. In 2000, I bought a 1986 Mercedes 300 SD Turbo that had only been in North Texas, which is like a humidor. It's the perfect, not much moisture. There's certainly no salt. And I drove that thing for 10 years without a problem. I saw people that I knew in Florida buy brand new cars, and 3 years later, you know, the oxidation, the salt, the paint job just completely gone. Starting to rust on the wheels, and just forget it. The Thing, VW's answer to the Jeep. Yeah, that was pretty cool. Kubelwagen, says John Ziermite. Kubelwagen. Uncle Jack says, yes, I'm a firm believer in preventative maintenance and fresh fluids and filters. Look, if your car says it needs to be maintained every 3,000 miles, maintenance it every 3,000 miles. Most U.S., GM, all that, they are aware of how United States people use their cars. And so they built some of that into it. The Germans don't. If you have a BMW or a Mercedes and it says maintenance at every 3,000 and you go 2 or 3 times and don't get to it till 5,000 or 6,000, you're going to have a problem. Big problem. But if you do, it'll run forever. Terry Nee says, I have a friend that had a Beetle in high school. Riding around on snowy streets was a blast. Oh, yeah, the Beetle. Well, it rear end heavy, you know? So you take a turn, you're going for a spin, you know. They're fun. My somebody told me that they're making still new ones, old school Beetles down in Mexico, that they make them cheap down there or something. My mom's 66 Beetle was a 1300, only had 40 horsepower, but got 40 miles to the gallon, lasted till someone in the late 80s with modest use. Yeah, that's the other thing. Those Beetles got incredible gas mileage, and I can still hear the sound of them. That they had a distinctive engine noise. Aku says, I live north of the border. I'm one of 3 techs remotely local that will touch rust work. Yeah, once a car starts to rust, just punt. It's over. If you just have a speck of rust, okay, yeah, bud. Once they start, I wonder if it's easy for me to get to my, I had to show you guys some pictures of my, I don't think I have them accessible that well here. Where does it say Tom's Jag? Come on, Tom's Jag. Where are those? They're in a folder. Oh, they're in my download folder. I'm trying to think of how I can show them to you. Well, that's just one. Let me look at what it looks like. I don't think it's one of the good pictures. Well, it's good enough. I'll just do that right now. Where's that located? Desktop. Okay. I'll show it to you right now. Oh, no. See, that's the thing about. Well, no. Oh, I can make it my background. That's the thing. StreamYard makes you. It just makes me so mad. They make you convert your pictures into JPEGs. I mean, PDFs. They're all it's JPEGs. What are you doing? Desktop. Thomas J. Cover letters. I'll just search for it. This isn't a good picture of it, but I've got a whole folder that I'd love to show you. But here, let's just go ahead and open that sucker. We'll do that right there. Come on. Come on, be good to Daddy. Here we go. Now I got to get out of the way. There you go. There's my Jag. There's my Jaguar. Hold on. I'll get completely out of the way. Oops. That's right after I got it. It's a lot better than that now. I was in a Beetle listening to the Beatles. If you want a show idea, I'll hunt down the evolution of car safety. It's saying how easily you could fold a car in yesterday's. It really is. I should do a show on the crash test dummies or something. Peter Lake's here. Hope your mother's doing well, Peter. Folks saying hi to Peter. Toby McGroby's here. Nice to see you, Toby. Julian Caesar says, now I think about it, my mom's 66 Beetle was a 6 volt, probably the last of them before 12 volt took over. The headlights were hazardous at night. Can imagine. It's a Jag. Come on, say it right. I love that car. I love it. It looks a lot better now. I've had it all detailed and love that car. Love it, love it, love it. Toby says, been here since the start. Well, thank you, Toby. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Hopefully you won't need Pervitin to keep watching. 972-994-6822. You better call now because I'm turning this baby off pretty quick. Pretty quick. Just quietly enjoying. Just quietly enjoying. Hey, Toby, what's going on? But that, ladies and gentlemen, is pretty much the story of Pervitin. God, I love that car. The pictures I have of the inside of it and stuff are just repair procedures have changed so drastically in the last 10 years. I believe you, Aku. They've made it just almost impossible to work on your car yourself. You know, there's a giant plastic shell that covers everything. Of course, my car is still somewhat accessible. I love that. Just love it. XJ8 Van Plus. Just, oh. When I tell people I have a Jag, they think I have one of those little sports car ones. And it's like, no. Mine's like a, diplomat's car or something. 3,000 hours, come on. Akko says Ford, for example, has changed repair process for aluminum box sides 15 times now. Well, I have a French dog, 2 American trucks, and a Brazilian love interest. You are a man of the world, Uncle Jack. You are an international man of mystery. See, that's the sporty one, the XKE. Where is? I have the most awesome folder with all my Jag photos. Where in the heck is it? The burled walnut, dashboard, all the, Now, Aku, you know that the aluminum monocoque that they now use on all the Ford trucks and a lot of Ford vehicles was pioneered on that Jaguar. That's one of the reasons that Ford bought and owned Jaguar from 2003 to 2009. And it's 30% lighter, 40% stronger than steel, or the vice versa, 40% lighter, 30% strong. I can't remember which. But that, I will not buy a Jaguar that was not designed by the British, built by Ford, because the problems are just insane. Otherwise, there it is, Jag pics. How can I get this to show? Because these pictures are absolutely, I can't share. I can share a screen. I'm going to have to put them where I can have them on a browser. Because, man, oh, man. Well, I could probably do another background, right? I could show you on another background here. Let me quick look this baby. Oh, man. That's just so beautiful. Where's one of the pictures of the inside? Let's see if I got an inside. Sorry, folks. I'm falling in love with my car again. God, is that a thing? No, I'll get them all on, in the cloud and slideshow them for you. Almost there. If I had a Jaguar, it would be the Jungle Animal. Those are harder to control. Jaguar, is it diesel, petrol? No, it's... but you do have to use premium unleaded. You can't use the other thing. Yeah, slideshow. You'd think I could just, well, let me see here. I don't know. Maybe there's a way. Share a screen, but that's only for, and it won't. They're not converted to PDFs. Recording hotkeys, general guess. No. I'll put them in the cloud, and then I'll show them to you. Need to figure out how to get ready for bed without the New Year's Marathon intro music. My dog is already used to it and reacts. Haha, not joking. Well, just forward past that. Did it have fine Corinthian leather? No, but it is leather. It's very, very leather. Oh, I love that car. Oh, boy. Christina Costello says, have a great night, Tom. Enjoyed the show. Ta-ta for now. I will do that. What's it weigh? That's a good question. Let's see here. It's 17 feet long. It is 3,819 pounds. 3,000, but it is 17 feet. That's a big car, man. And you are traveling in luxury. Luxury. I also have a bad habit of bringing up the fact that I'm helping. No, please bring it up. You deserve to bring it up. You're helping. Mute the marathon like I do. Yeah, mute that thing. Turn it down completely. You don't have to actually have the sound up for it to count. That's one of the best things about it. Can I do a wheelie? What year is your car? It's 2005. Can you do a wheelie? No, I can't do a wheelie. Let's see here. Oops. I can show you some pictures, though. I can show you some pictures. Let's see if there's good pictures of the inside. Oh, you guys don't care about the front of my car. That's really what mine looks like right there. This one's up for auction, I guess. Does it have extra pictures? It does, but... All right, I'll share this screen. What do I care? I fell asleep to the Tom Gully Marathon. It was fun. You're not the first, Joker. You're not the first. The phone lines are closed, by the way. Oh, gosh. Now I got to do a bunch of stuff in my... Tor, VTL's favorite browser. I don't know what's up with that. Got the spinning color wheel after closing the... Okay, I think I'm good now. Let's see here. Present. Oh, I got to make myself teeny tiny like Vince the lawyer first. Present. Share screen. No reserve. This one's selling. Okay, that's what my car looks like right there. That's what it looks like. And then that's the behind. It's the side. And this is the cool part. Look at that. All the burl walnut. Look at that little shifter there. That little tiny, very small, very elegant. Everything's very elegant on the inside. It's just very elegante. What are you showing the... I want to see the dash. Show me the dash. Oh, here's a bunch of pictures. Oh, there's 161 more. Well, for the love of Mike. Show me the dash. I don't want to see all those details. All right, let's see here. Don't you got like a dashboard picture? Oh, gosh, I love the instrument panel. Look at that. I absolutely love the instrument panel. Oh, that's not the thing. There, look at that, the little clock. Yeah, there's your display. Oh, man. God, I love that car. It's got the CD changer. There's your little J shifter, classic Jaguar J. There's the burled walnut. Oh, it's just so nice. Those are the little windscreen, sunscreens that come up. There's an automatic one in the back. Look at those. Just like an airliner. Look at those. There's also the rear dedicated climate control. Oh, it's just... Oh, God, I fall in love with my car every time. Let's see here. Let's see. So I'd have to have one in black. Black gets dirty. But that would be my second choice. I played that marathon a bunch of times in my other browser, Tor, so they don't know it's me. Yeah, you don't want to be associated with that. Panel Bond is a fun product. Glue a car together. Yes, my mom is doing really fine. Thank you. That's very good, Peter. I'm glad to hear it. Fell asleep to the Tom Gully Marathon. It was fun. VTL's favorite browser. He's such a... I just switched VPN addresses. But I had fun, informed dreams, yes. Lyndon says, great show, Tom. Thank you. Thank you. Is there a Rico on in like 2 minutes? I don't do stuff without a VPN. I came across some 2003 Park Avenue with 40K mint, 5K. Tall guys like big cars. My new Buick Enclave is a garbage plastic compared to it. Yeah, you can. There's actually some models of cars. This is one of them, this Jag, that you can pick up for nothing. And if you're willing to put a little money into them, and I don't mean a lot, to get them up to snuff, man, you are driving a classic car for nothing. Toby says, that's gorgeous. One of my nephews is a Pontiac Bonneville enthusiast. Those are nice. Let's see here. Green on black. Wow. Is that what you have, Tom? No. The inside of mine is not black leather. It's like a tan. I drove a rich guy's Jaguar once. I was nervous. Yeah, that car that I have cost $80,000 in 2005. So it was kind of top of the line back then. Tom Gully, would you hate me if I told you how many of them I've seen scrapped? No, because there is a perception. First of all, you got to be talking about, to affect me at all, 2003 to 2009. That was when the Brits designed them, but the Ford people built them. So you didn't have all of the problems that those previous Jags had. Electrical, fit, a lot of problems. I would never buy one of those. And these, the perception persists that they're going to be problems to keep on the road, expensive to fix, and constantly problematic. Not the case. I bought mine, had a couple of issues. I had them fixed. I take it to a great guy to have it regularly maintenance serviced, and I've never had a problem. And I'm driving this Dreamboat. So, no, I mean, that does not surprise me. And that's also, I believe, the reason you can pick them up for a song. And you really can. So, I'm never going to drive it cross country. I might drive it to Austin or to Houston or something like that. But that's not a drive it everywhere in the universe car. That's your daily driver. And it's just fabulous. Update on the 96. I got most of my arm wedged under and in the heater box. Difficult to type offhand. I might lose some skin. Sure, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Aku says 8:30. Rico's on at 8:30. Okay, that's 8:30 Eastern. So that's in a half an hour, right? The Shawnee Zone has been on for the last half hour for sure that I know of. Might have been on longer than that. They're on now. Yeah. Does the car coming toward you have their high beams on? I don't think so. Did we miss the ice cream truck? The sun is in Tom's face. He hadn't been by yet today. Yesterday he came by at some insane hour. It's almost 9 o'clock. What did we learn tonight? We learned that Germans really liked Pervitin. We heard it really helped them at the beginning of the war, but it really didn't at the end of the war. We heard the German public in general was not really thinking methamphetamine was a drug. It was just kind of like Brock's Candies or something. We learned about my vehicle. We learned about, we learned that I have 2,835 viewing hours before this show, and that we are in striking distance of passing 3,000. So, yes, sir, there isn't many vehicles I haven't scrapped or scrapped myself. I in your line of work, I'm sure you've seen everything. Most vehicles suffer from having a loose nut behind the wheel. Also, down here in Texas, nobody's going to hit me on ice or snow. So they might hit me because they're driving a, Ford F-250 like a crazy maniac. But there's so many decent vehicles on the road today. Many are old, cooler vehicles. Yeah. Tonight I learned all about Pervitin, which I didn't know anything about. So thanks. Uncle Jack, I have always been the kind of person that wants to find a classic car that isn't going to cost me $1 million, fix it up, and then I'm driving around something that cost me half of what a brand new Nissan Sentra would. And it's a beautiful piece of machinery that I feel cool driving. And even to this day, when I'm driving somewhere, I can be stopped at a light. This happens once or twice a month at least. And I'll be at a light, and the person in the car next to me will just look over and go, yeah, give me the thumbs up. I also, there's 2 or 3 in my sort of section of Dallas that I pass, or I'm driving back from work, and we run into each other a lot. And we always give each other that, yeah, you know. I used to jog past a business that had one. It was a maroon one. And I would always go to the door and knock, but I was jogging in an hour that it was after hours. And one day I got there and it was not after hours, and I'm sweating and I'd been running, and I went into the front and I said, I'm just running by here. I run by every day. And who owns that maroon Jaguar? And they went, oh, that's Mr. So-and-so. It was an attorney that was in there. I said, could you tell him that there's another 2005 XJ8 Vanden Plas owner downstairs, and I just wanted to compliment him. And he came down and he was all excited, because his wasn't a Vanden Plas, and he was like, "Oh yeah, this is it's just an XJ8, but yeah, and I got this done." And we went outside and started talking to each other. And he goes, "So what? Tell me about yours." And I said, "Well, I live a mile down the road. If you want, I'll run, get it, and drive it back." He goes, "Yeah, do that." And I did. We sat there like 2 little schoolgirls talking next to these Jaguars for about 45 minutes. And I subsequently have seen him here and there in town, and went to a barbecue place one time called Red, White, and Blues or something like that. Anyway, I walked in. He immediately goes, "Hey, come on over. Come on, have dinner with us. Have dinner. This is the guy that owns that Jag that I was telling you about." And we ate, and then we all went out in the parking lot and gushed over our 2 Jaguars. It was awesome. Great show, Tom. Certified Stone Green host. I am. Not even a show. I will never not be green rated by them. 56 2-door Plymouth Suburban. Yes, Plymouth, 18,000 actual miles. Putting in a fuel-injected V8. Talk about wiring nightmare. Wow, Kahuna. That's an endeavor. Aku says, Tom, look up tracking headlights. Basically, they track oncoming traffic, and the high beam is 20-ish bulbs, so it can select which ones to dull. Well, the one thing about my Jag is that the headlamps are no longer manufactured in anywhere but Mexico. And I'm thinking of getting LEDs put in. I know that's like not everything I've done as I've restored it. For instance, I had the entire stereo, all the speakers put back, new speakers everywhere. And so I used the same Alpines that it was spec'd with when the car was built. But I think I'd like these LEDs, because the only thing I have a problem with, and it's not a problem in terms of the fact that it costs me money, because these headlamps are under warranty. It's normally the bulb. They go out, and never a problem from a cop standpoint, because the Jag has 4 headlamps. It has big one, small one. But if one of them goes out, I have to have it replaced. So I've been thinking about getting LEDs put in, just because they're so much brighter. If I could find something that looks decent, I would. The other problem with that is that on the Jaguar, your turn signals in the front are in the headlamps. You have running lights for the side, but almost at 3,000 times, we're almost there. I kind of expect YouTube to throw a monkey wrench in at the last second, because you do have to apply, but we'll see. I can't drive my car. It only takes leaded gasoline. Ooh. I've been watching this show for a few years now. What's wrong with me? He says, you ain't right. That's all. You just ain't right. Peace. Uncle Jack says, Tom, you and I are the same old. I run into the very rare barn find vehicle. An old guy passed, and his daughter's wife is selling in the house. There's an old junker in the garage. They want a junk. Yeah. They're looking at it, and you're looking at the bones. You're looking at the bones, and you're like, yeah, this just needs to be run through a car wash. I can buy a new set of tires. That's nothing. But if I told you what I paid for that and how much money I put into it, I told one guy and his jaw dropped open. He was like, "You kidding me?" I'm like, "No, you can find them everywhere, brother. You can find them everywhere." Other thing about the engines that are in my particular one is they run for a long time. They're not quite Mercedes level, but they're getting pretty close to it. And I can't countenance paying $25,000, $35,000 for a terrible, like a Nissan, like I said, Nissan Sentra or something like that, when I know for way less than that, or heck, even at the same price, I can have a car like that. It doesn't make any logical sense to me at all. It just doesn't. Joker, there are additives you can get for leaded fuel. Okay, I can go on for hours on the vehicles I purchased for pennies on the dollar. Me too. Me too. I bought that Mercedes for 5 G's in 2000. I drove it for 10 years, and it was mint. It's, you know, if you are willing to wait and you look around and you've got an onboard diagnostic tester and you've got a good mechanic, you can really, but you gotta be patient. You gotta be patient. I never thought I wanted another car with a transmission again. I like cars with gear shifts. And I ran across that and I went, this guy doesn't know what he has. I think I'll have this. Right on. Cars are great, but old guitars are super fun. They are. A lot of, I know some major guitar guys. I know someone who found a Richard Petty Daytona in a barn and got it for a song. Oh my gosh. Star Mountain. Hey man. Good to see you. Says, cheers, Tom. Been a few. I bet you Star Mountain's been through a few guitars in his day. By the way, if you really do like custom guitars, electric, a good friend of mine has a website, Connor Guitart, ConnerGuitart.com. Go there, check him out. He's got a Facebook page for it as well. Tell him Tom sent you. I can confirm Ford still offers wind-up windows. It's a special order only. You never think you want those until you're in the Wendy's drive-thru and the servo goes out on your window. If you're lucky, you can get it back up again and then never, ever lower it. Down here in Texas, big problem with a lot of Ford trucks. The windows, the glue things that hold them in, get so hot here, they become separated and drop down into the door. I know 10 guys that's happened to. And it's a pain to fix, and you think you got it fixed, but you don't have it fixed. You really don't. Trustworthy mechanic, CPA, and wife is key. Terry Nee, you are a man that knows the keys of life. That's very true. That's very true. Reverend Wild Bill says best car I ever owned was from a police auction, old Interceptor with a built engine in it. Sorry, Tom. Can you spell that again? I'd be happy to. In fact, I'm going to put it in the chat. Let's see if the chat will take a... there you go. There it is right there. I'll leave that up. Make sure and tell him Tom sent you. If you want to see spectacular custom-made guitars, he'll make you one. It won't be cheap, but it'll be beautiful. They're all playable. A lot of people, because he makes a canvas for them for you to put it on when you're not playing it. So a lot of people think it's just decorative. No, they all play. They all play. He's made them for musicians and everything else. So check him out. Very good friend. And he does amazing work. Amazing work. Those scanners will only get you so far. That's true. That is true. But they'll suss out any of the things that are obvious. And if you have studied the vehicle and you've read up on what the common problems are in the vehicle, it's helpful to be able to look for those. So, Terry, just don't ever let the three meet. Got it. Thanks. Yeah. Connor Guitart. No, it's Guitart. It's guitar and art put together. He makes beautiful, one-of-a-kind guitars. That is true. See here, it says 19 watching, 19 likes. Is there only 9? Whatchamacallit here says, hold on. I've got 19 on YouTube, but I have 25 on Twitter. Hey, you Twitter folks, come on over to YouTube. The watching's fine. That's the prescribed method of watching the Tom Gully Show, although if you want to watch it on Twitter, that's fine too. Aku says, and that's because there's a basic view and a government side with full details. Manufacturers like GM and Chrysler have gateways that will completely block you from accessing any meaningful info. Sorry, guitarts. Well, yeah, but I drive a Jag. That's Ford build. I've never had a problem. Every time I've gotten an error code, I've taken it to them, and it's been the thing that's wrong. So it's better to have it than not, have it. I have a friend in Seattle who designed guitars for Prince. The guys in Judas Priest, etc. I can't afford one of his. Yeah. Datre guitars. Okay. Well, I don't know how much you want to pay for a guitar, but you could probably get Kurt to do one for you. I don't know if his prices are still up on the site or not. He'll build you something super custom. If you're out there performing, sometimes it's nice to have something super custom. But yes, I've got 45 listed here, 20 on YouTube right now, and 25 on Twitter. Hey, Twitter. Sorry, X, formerly known as Twitter. How you doing, Twitter? Good to see you. Come on over to the YouTube. That's where I crank up the view hours and get to know everybody in the chat. Well, actually, yeah, you get to know everybody in the chat room. You can be a star in my chat room. I have a Snap-on one in shop. I can operate window functions from that thing. Yeah. Fair prices, too. Very fair prices. My OBD2, I got tired of having to take my car to a mechanic and say, we're going to run a diagnostic. It's $150. We'll take that off the price of anything. That blah, 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 blah. And I just went, well, I can get my own. And if you're going to work on cars as much as I do or know people that have issues, you can just pop that baby out and say, this is what it's telling me from the error code. I'm sure that the one in my mechanic's garage goes into far greater detail than mine. But knowing that general code, my guy has worked on Jaguars for 30 years. And so when I tell him what the code and or codes are, at least when I first got the car and was working all the bugs out of it, he knew pretty much immediately what was going on. So I'm glad I got it. I often tell people that's the best money I've ever spent on any sort of tool, was that. We're outnumbered by Twitter. We are right now, Julian. So I'm sad to say that currently we are outnumbered by Twitter. Hurts. Any auto parts store will scan it for free. Yes, they will. Which means you have to go to the auto parts store. I would prefer to do that in my driveway. As you said, as I said, you will see generic data. Yeah, mine can see everything down to each spark plug. Yeah, you just all I get is the error code, and then I have to go look up the error code, and then sometimes conflicting information on what that is. But I don't have to pay a mechanic for that. I don't have to go to the mechanic. I don't have to believe the mechanic. Although my guy, I believe for everything, but I just would rather have it. Sorry. Uncle Jack, see you on BYB. I know what you're saying, Aku. It's the same way I feel about AI writing. Oh, but it does this, and it does that, and it does this, and it does that. Yeah, but it can't do what I do. So, Tom, not getting YouTube credit for X viewers. No, I don't get credit for that, but I'm happy to have the viewers anyway. I have none on Facebook right now, which is the really hurtful part. Uh-oh. I don't know if he's coming back this way or not, but the ice cream guy just... Anyway, there is a RICO coming up. Oh, some error codes. It won't give all just generic issues. HVAC, airbag, etc. No, that's not true. Mine gives me way more than that. It'll give me fuel ratio mixture. It'll give me catalytic converter errors. It'll tell me if there's a coil out. It'll tell me which coil is out or going out. Misfire. I mean, it tells me a lot more than I wouldn't expect to see anything from HVAC. Plus, my car's a Jag. It has a message center in the front that'll tell me if my airbag's out. Most of the things I'm concerned are when my message center tells me restricted performance, which typically means that I have a coil issue, which I only had when I first got the car, and then I slowly replaced all the coils and haven't had it since. But that's when the car will run, and it's not going to really hurt it that badly. It's just that it won't accelerate like crazy. The Jaguar isn't going to let you hurt the car. So... let's see. I hear him. Joker says, thanks. Super fun show. Thank you. Who sells ice creams to kids after dark? A villain? I know, it's 7:20. Thanks, chat. One love. Uncle Jack says, Star Mountain. Yes, sir. Yeah, he's a villain. He's evil. Great show as always, Tom. Thank you so much, SG, and thank you all for being here. I truly do appreciate it. You're the best, the very best. So we march toward 3,000. Please like, please share, please subscribe, retweet, whatever you want to do. We could really use the exposure. Those things don't cost any money. If you want to go to our merch store, it's at thetomgullyshow.com in the store section. You can also go to cafepress.com/thetomgullyshow. You might find something cool there. If you'd like to just help us out and contribute, we'd love that. That'd be great. That'd be so needed. And that's at paypal.me/TomGullyShow. Otherwise, you guys have been fabulous. I guess I'll see you on Rico in the chat room. And the only other thing left to say is, well, let's just say, maybe do a show about Larry Bird. Oh, don't get me started. But I've found people don't like the sports shows too much. Not so much, but occasionally. Anyway, I'd be crying. Super chats equal advertising. That's true. It's very true. Need to make some stickers for hitting the goal. Well, hopefully not. Hopefully we just get it over with. Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, it's a celebration. Anyway, there's a Rico. I'll be in the chat room. Hope you guys have a great evening. Thank you for being here. It's great to see you. I'm glad we got Pervitin out of the way. And with all that being said, till next time, we'll see you next time.
I don't wanna talk about that, 'cause I got to out of my pants.